So, how many Amish people live in the United States of America today? They settled here over 300 years ago, and it made me wonder how many Amish people actually live here. And you're going to be surprised by the answer, at least I was. I found some US statistics about the Amish population in a 2022 report. 32 states in the United States of America have Amish populations. Now, what is considered an Amish population? It consists of at least one Amish settlement, and it has to be old or new order Amish. Now, lately, they've added the beachy Amish, or kind of like the progressive Amish, and they're just being included in those numbers because that's a totally new group. Pennsylvania is the state that has the highest population of Amish people. Ohio comes in second, Indiana third, and then Wisconsin fourth. Two-thirds of the population of the United States of Amish people live in those top three states: Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. As of 2022, the population in the United States was 360,000. Now, this is rapidly growing because the average number of children that an Amish family has is seven. However, I did find a calculation where somebody did the math and decided to see how long would it take the Amish population to turn all of America into Amish, and according to numbers, and it would take 200 years. If they kept going at the rate that they're going, it would take 200 years and almost all of the United States would be Amish. We won't be here to find out, will we? I do have a chart here if you're curious to see how many Amish people live in each of these states. These are the top 10. As you get lower, obviously the numbers are going down under 10,000. But again, Pennsylvania has almost 100,000 Amish citizens living in their state. Now, why is Pennsylvania have the most? Well, if you go back and look, I have another video I made above if you want to get into some other details. I'll try not to repeat too much of it, but go ahead and look at the link above about the origins of the Amish population and how and why they came to being when they broke away from the Catholic Church. Now, how did they end up here in America? Well, it's interesting. After they left the Catholic Church, the Mennonites, they started out with the Mennonites and the Brethren, and then the Amish broke away from them. Again, the details are in the video above. Well, a lot of them kept moving to other countries because there was a lot of persecution. Now, remember, the Catholic Church was the one and only church, so anybody that broke away was seen as heresy, and they were persecuted. Many people died because of their beliefs. Well, William Penn, back in the 1700s, actually started a community in Pennsylvania, and he invited any religious groups that were persecuted to come settle in Pennsylvania. He believed in religious freedom and wanted these persecuted groups to come. And that's when the Amish came into Pennsylvania and they were welcomed. Now, William Penn was not Amish. He was actually a Quaker. He just believed that people had the right to practice their religious faith without persecution. I thought I'd put a little piece of information here about William Penn. How did William Penn get to America and how did he get all this land? William Penn was actually a Quaker and he'd been through a lot of religious persecution himself. So he did believe in religious freedom. It was in the 1680s when King Charles II gave Penn a real large tract of land in Pennsylvania. It was to settle a debt that the king owed him. So Penn came to America, and then after a period of learning about the struggles of other faiths, he offered religious freedom in his land, and he welcomed every faith warmly. So the Amish and the Mennonites crossed the Atlantic, believing that Pennsylvania was an answer to their prayers. And William Penn was obviously successful with his open arms because now Lancaster County has the highest population. It's also one of the biggest tourism attractions for the Amish and the Mennonites. So if you're ever planning to visit an Amish community, it's got a lot of touristy things. That would be definitely a trip you would want to take. A lot of the video that I do here in my area is not a touristy area, so you probably might not even see it on a map. You can see some of the pictures and some of the attractions. I've also put a link below if you want to see more information about that area.